Hi, mate.
Hello.
How's it going? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. I'm a bit poorly. How are you?
Uh, Touch wood, not too bad. Not too bad.
Good.
My ears have been. I woke up this morning and I felt like when you're about 5 years old and you get like an ear infection and you just
Yeah.
know that it's on. It felt like that, so they feel a bit echoey. But it's got better during the day, so I think I'm just being a bit hypochondriac. just, oh, I want to be like everybody else.
Yeah. Everyone else is ill, and I'm missing
Oh,
out. I know you, mate. I've started a new job, Phil. I'm doing some delivery driving for Every, just to keep me out, get me out of the house, basically. And I'll do your house. I'll do your
oh,
route.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
No deliveries yet for you in the last 2 days, but I'm keeping my eye out.
Yeah, I'll let you know if I'm expecting any. Because, funnily enough, my mate Claire drives for Amazon. She delivers there as well for them. So,
Yeah, it's an interesting world, mate. I'm like, I won't obviously be doing it forever, but I'm doing it like just essentially to yeah, just to boost up the coffers really, and it's quite funny because there's definitely like intercompany beef, and you know what I mean. So like I went out on the first day with the guy, the main guy, and he's
yeah.
like, oh yeah, you'll see this Amazon driver. He does this shoot. He's mental. Like, you know what I mean? It's like the stuff they know about people in the community is insane. Do you know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
much crazy thing. Crazy thing.
Brilliant.
Well,
It's,
today
yeah.
was not. Well, shit. Sorry, everyone.
What?
Great content. I know. Um, Today was not a great day to do my first day. To be honest, it went really well. Yeah, describe the weather. How do we describe the weather? Continental listeners.
Raining cats and dogs.
Nice, I like that. Good, good,
Yeah.
good. Horrendous,
What?
non-stop.
What else? What's the other way expression I've heard? The heavens open.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
It was
stop,
just
didn't stop
it
open.
hasn't stopped.
Mm.
I'm going to cheers you with that. Like, I bought myself. I'm only drinking for 2 months. I'm not making any resolutions, but I am not drinking in 2023 at all.
That's a great shout. This is a non-alcoholic. Um, I've not drunk since Christmas Day, so this is day
Brilliant.
5. Not drinking tomorrow. We have got a date night. This is New Year's Eve, as I'm sure you are aware. But we are going to see the Way of Water, in 4DX, the
Oh, okay.
Avatar
Yep.
thing. Yeah, yeah. So that's quite exciting. But yeah, no, I'm planning not to drink. I'm certainly well. I've done. I'm going to do up until January and then do January, dry January, and then just see. Because my birthday's on February 7th.
Yeah.
But I got there last year and drank and kind of regretted it. So I'm going to see how I go this year and hopefully, like you, keep going. We'll just keep pushing each other on, shall we?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Man, yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it just gets a bit silly, doesn't it? Like we had that night, so we were supposed to do. Let's fill people in. We were supposed to do the drunk cast, but as per usual, my basically my list of stuff to do is ridiculous, and I don't actually know where all my microphones are because the children take them and run around with them, and then we ended up getting too drunk really to kind of rectify the situation, sort of sensibly and collaboratively. So we just called it off, didn't we, mate?
We did. Apart from sitting one upstairs, one downstairs, and doing what we're doing right
Mm.
now, which we thought was a bit pointless, we just sat and got drunk.
Just saying got drunk, bit antisocial, wasn't it? Yeah. So sorry about that for everyone. We're not doing the drunk cast really, but it probably would have been fairly drivelly. But yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what happened with that, and then yeah, I've got to fill you in on Christmas Day because it's a funny story.
Oh yeah, go on.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna say who in the family it was, but I'll obviously tell you, and
Yeah.
it might be clear to you anyway. But I'll tell you off air. But basically, it's Christmas Day, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're up, 6 o'clock, whatever, doing kids doing the usual stuff. Da, da, da. I've got a little weird routine. I've got to watch The Snowman and then a bit of Polar Express first thing. Do you know what I mean? They're my things, they're my Christmas things I like to do. So I did those. Then we went out for a Christmas walk because Amara got a scooter, I think, and went to the park. Then came back, and then basically everyone was arriving at 12. So we had a few family members, and at 12 o'clock, I was in the kitchen with Skylar, but from about 11, prepping the food. There was a fairly tight schedule, eating quite early because of the children and stuff. So we were supposed to be eating by sort of 12:30-ish. 12:35, and some fairly important family members who are supposed to be bringing the turkey haven't shown up. So
okay,
I'm a little bit like, no, it's fine, it's Christmas, these things happen, it's never going to be perfect, don't worry, what's going on? So then we're still putting around the kitchen trying to keep things warm. My mum and Colin, have arrived, and other people have arrived, and then my missus comes downstairs to Naisha, and she's like, they're not coming, the people who are supposed to be coming. I was like, oh, right, what's happened? I was like, well, the true story is they started drinking at 7 a.m. and by about 8:30, they'd had 2 bottles of Prosecco. And then by 9 o'clock, they were inviting neighbours from their road into the house to drink more and so on. And then basically, cut a long story short, they were too drunk to come. So my wife was like, because they're, without mentioning like who they are, they're sort of that size. And I don't think they listen to the podcast, so it's fine anyway. And my wife doesn't, so that's good. So they didn't arrive. But then, right, it's sort of, that's obviously gone down a little bit like a lead balloon because obviously there's no turkey. Which is the world. Obviously, you've got a plan about who's coming, and everyone's got geared up and so on, and they've not arrived. Then, basically, about an hour later, 45 minutes later, we were eating the meal. These family members do arrive in their car, and they're steaming drunk, and basically deliver some presents for the kids. And they weren't allowed in, not my choice, and they went back. And essentially, there's been a little period of kind of what's going to happen. I don't know what the fallout's going to be here. But put it this way, they're very apologetic. They're now on best behaviour. We're getting quite a few date nights coming up as a result. That's kind of the situation. So, ever had that one before?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Sounds amazing. One quick question. When they did turn up, did they bring the turkey?
They did bring the turkey, Phil.
Result.
They did bring the turkey. A bit bloody late, but they did bring the turkey, and and the turkey did look amazing. But the problem with turkey, right, is that I just feel unless you have it immediately in gravy, it's just naff, isn't it? After.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's really hard to cook. I mean, this year's turkey for us was good, really good. It wasn't. Because, you start eating turkey and you're like, you get a bit of stuffing in there, you get a bit of pigs in blanket, a bit of Brussels sprout, you got a proper mouthful going on, and the turkey sucks all the moisture from all of that stuff, and you're eating powder, and you have to sneak a little red wine sip just to help it go down. But this year, it wasn't anywhere like that. It was really, really lovely. So,
good.
No, it was all good.
Yeah, tell me about yours then, pal. It can't have been as eventful as mine, I dare say.
No, it was quite. What was lovely? I was at Viv's Christmas Eve, and the girls had gone to bed, and Viv was. It was about midnight, and we were still up, and Callum, her eldest, was 17 now, and I was like, "Do you fancy one of these?" So I gave her like cheeky little desperados. And we sat there and watched Rob and Romish on their Sky show. It was the one where they were doing Olympic sports.
Yeah.
And it was really nice for the two of us just to bond and we were laughing. It was really, really good. And then we went to bed, woke up in the morning, and Father Christmas had been, and it was a normal kind of Christmas day. Well, the only change for me this year was that I normally get Quinn on Boxing Day.
Yeah.
But I didn't have him for Boxing Day. In fact, he only turned up yesterday because his brother and sister, who are they're both at universities, one at Brighton. No, they're not both at universities. Noah's at university and Meg works up in Sheffield, so they're quite a way away. And he wanted to spend those days after Christmas with his sister and brother. And I was like, yeah, it sounds like a plan. And he's like, but can I come to yours for New Year's? So we've got a bit of a plan where everyone's going to congregate around my parents' house. We're going to have pizza and eat the rest of the stuff up so my mum hasn't got chocolate around for the next 4 months, and mince pies. And we're going to get, the Switch will be out, and we'll get all the rummy cub and the cards out and just have a bit of a games night thing.
Nice.
So, yeah, it'll all be good fun.
That's good, man. We've got, like I say, we're going to see that film tomorrow in 4DX. So today she's never done the 4DX, so I'm quite excited about. I think she'll really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's an experience.
Well, mate, it's interesting. I was speaking to the guy in Cineworld, and he was saying, Maverick was good for the cinema, but this Avatar, mate, he reckons because we went on the other day to go and see it, and it's all sold out all day. I was like, what?
Really?
It's all sold out all day. So you need to book 2 or 3 days in advance. So we booked for New Year's Eve 3 or 4 days. So essentially, and I was like, that is good for cinema, isn't it? He said, mate, honestly, we've been the auditorium's 286 in there, so we're filling it out every day. I said, but that's so positive because that's what cinema needs, because that complex we've got up there in Ashford, people who don't know what 4DX is, it is based, and we've got IMAX as well, and it's another interesting thing. So I know I'm jumping around a bit, but the IMAX, he said, Avatar: The Way of Water is made for IMAX. He said, so essentially, if you watch it in 4DX, you'll have a great time, but you should also watch it in IMAX. I said, well, if I like it, I'll come back and I'll do that. But the 4DX thing, it's got seats that move, it's got water on the screen, which I imagine is going to be quite a lot. You get sprinkled with it, there's smells, and it is literally like being on a roller coaster. So for us, where we live, given we don't have, I don't know, we have some cool stuff, but we don't have really cool stuff like that. That's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. The only downside, and I have to say this because I always stick up for teenagers. Anyone that listens regularly will know I often get on my high horse. Is just the cost of it. Yeah. It is amazing, and I know amazing. You have to pay for it and things like that. But even for if Quinn and myself go, and with popcorn and everything, it's the best part of kind of 40, 50 quid. Yeah. Because the tickets are just so expensive. But if, and obviously it sounds like they don't need to worry too much about it if they're filling out the auditorium each time. But it would be good if teenagers could just have that little bit more of a discount. Not for us, but getting them to do stuff. But no, you're right. It's an amazing resource, and obviously Cineworld own the Picture House as well, don't they? Or they're both in the same sister company.
Oh, they really? I did not know that.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, so there's one right in the middle of the town, which is great because I've always moaned about Ashford being a satellite town and people having to move. If you want to go to a supermarket, you've got to go outside of the town. If you want to go to, a nice eatery, like a takeaway, it's outside of the town. They're pushing things out. The outlet is outside of the town. It's all this, but actually, Picture House and Matches, and I know the Macnade, they've gone now, haven't they?
Badly, yes.
Yeah, but it's that sort of thing. It was they are starting to think about drawing everyone back into the town. Is it me, or have I heard? It might have even been you that told me where Debenhams is going to be a big eatery type area.
Yeah, it was me, I think, and basically there's plans to. There's quite a young, cool sort of dude who's doing the planning in Ashford now, and he's trying to bring together all the cool things. Because there are cool things, like the Coachworks is cool, but it's seasonal. It's so cold in there at the moment, and even the owners say honestly, I don't know how people come in. But that's great during the summer, and then you've got Curious Brewery, which is pretty cool for that. For what it is, it's expensive.
Yeah.
He's good. He's nice. Yeah, and he's trying to bring that all together. So the idea, I think, in the long run, is to pedestrianise that bit by where you're talking about Elwick Place, and just have it all eateries, and that would be fun because actually, I think that there are people in this town who would go to that. Today I went to the gym foolishly after work, and it was absolutely heaving in Bannatyne, and it was absolutely heaving to get through the car park where the cinema and all that stuff is as well. So people are out spending money. It's just that they tend, like you say, absolutely correctly, that people are used to, pardon me, going to the various retail outlets or whatever around the town rather than come into the town. So it would be well overdue, in my
opinion. Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit, but yeah, man. On the whole, have you had a good Christmas period?
Do you know, I don't normally pat myself on the back, but I am going to pat myself on the back. Today was the third time I've been to the gym in between Christmas and New Year. And obviously I've done a lot of gym work up to then, but normally I would just sit and veg and melt into a big tub of lard. But I've got my backside up. I've got myself into the gym 3 times this week. I'm really chuffed with myself. But today, you're right. There were a few more noobs in there, newbies, and in and around, and it's weird. I mean, it was up until I was probably 50 minutes. I was in there, and I was kind of looking around, and I didn't recognise any of the faces, and I was like, they didn't recognise my face, and it was a bit weird. And then a couple of the guys that worked there came in, and another guy came in to train, and they all headed straight over to where I was deadlifting, and they came over, and it was like, oh, how's it going? How's your Christmas? And all of a sudden, the gym sort of took on an extra brightness and an extra sort of colour. It just felt much nicer, rather than that kind of no one's looking at that person and no one's talking to them. And
that's the nice thing, man. I mean, I'm a bit negative about my gym at the moment, just because they keep shutting. Duncan Bannatyne is a tight bastard, and he keeps shutting the steam room. Oh, this steam room's resting at the moment, or this jacuzzi's ready, or this piece of machinery, and it's like, bro, it's heaving. Like, I walked into the steam room, and there was I'm not joking, about 15 people, and the other one's been closed down because of energy consumption. I'm just thinking, man, when does it stop being fun? And I went into the jacuzzi, and the water was all grey and that, and I was like, but the problem is, I get on really well with the manager there. She's such a sweetheart, Holly. And I just, every time she's like, hi, and I even know the Christmas card and stuff. I'll probably be the 14th person stage moaned at, so I just smile and wave and get on with it. It's a little bit like, can't really wait till January's over. It goes back to normal a little bit, and we get but it's good, man. I mean, it seems like people are starting early, aren't they? They're starting in between. It's kind of what I've done with drinking. So, knocked that on the head. I've got a few of these bad boys as well.
Oh, nice. Elvis juice.
So another thing, a bit boring, but I did all of last year's shopping in Sainsbury's to see how many next points I get, and I got 61 or something. 61 quid's worth, sorry, in the end, for my Christmas shop. So next year I'm doing Tesco. So all my shops so far have been at Tesco, and this, with a club card, a 12-pack or something of these Brewdog alcohol frees, 7 quid at the moment. I thought, that's not too bad, is it?
No, exactly. I quite like that, and I know it's forcing us to go to a particular supermarket or have a particular club card or discount card or whatever, but there is that whole kind of, when you go into Tesco, you get your subtotal and then your club card, and 30 quid comes off, and you see £95, and you're like, Jesus Christ. And then you put your club card on, and it's like, oh, it's £62.50. You go, oh, that's a bonus.
Sweet. Yeah.
So, and I know it's all, so I was just going to say, I know it's kind of not even subliminally, but it's sort of, it's marketing at its very best. I get that, but you still go, oh yes, my club cards just saved me 30 quid. Woo!
Yes, it is excellent marketing. But yeah, no, I think, I mean, Sainsbury's, it is nice, but it does take the piss a little bit. Mate. Like, I mean, the prices of like basic stuff, like the and I don't want a lawsuit again. Saves me to come for us. We're not ready for that battle yet. But I mean, there are some things that are significantly like kids eat like the cheap cheese and tomato type pizzas, like frozen pizzas, and the cheapest one in Sainsbury's is £1.25, and the cheapest one in Tesco is 69p. So that's a big difference, isn't it? That's a big difference.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are things in Sainsbury's, like for instance, I can't actually get chocolate spread that's cheap in Tesco's. God, I've got bored. What happens? But so it works both ways. Anyway, I'll shut the fuck up. But yeah, so that's essentially one. I had an interesting thing that happened to me, which is quite cool as well. I was like one of those dads who thought, do you know what? I'm so on top of my technology and my accounts and the kids' tablets and stuff. There's not a chance that they're going to buy something and I'm going to have like 90 quid lifted out of my account and I'm not going to know what it is. And then I woke up. Well, I didn't wake up. I was upstairs doing something. Hit my account. I was like, PlayStation had taken 95 quid out of my account. So went downstairs, checked it. Gabriel's playing Spider-Man. I was like, that's interesting, Dave. We don't have Spider-Man on the PlayStation. But what he's done, I didn't get cross because I was thinking, like, this is life. These things happen. Cut long story short, it was actually 85 quid in the end, but he bought a PlayStation Plus membership, and essentially you get loads of free games. So I've ended up keeping it. I was like, this is amazing. Cheers, bro. I would never have known this thing existed. I was like, normally those things end in like, but actually I was like, I'm never off the PlayStation. I'm either working or playing PlayStation. So I was like, my 3-year-old knows more about the PlayStation than I do. So there we are.
Yeah.
Big up to him.
Yeah. It is. It's great having kids for that reason, isn't it?
They know their stuff, the little ones. They know their stuff.
Yeah.
So, I've got a couple of things, mate.
Yeah.
We were going to do that rundown of like goals and 2022 sort of wrap up vibe.
Yeah.
And then also, I've got obviously conspiracy, for you. But towards the end. So, but I thought, in the meantime, let's have a look at these questions. So essentially, I was on Twitter and I was looking at, I've got a few people on there who are, this kind of, like you and I both like these sorts of things, don't we? Like on Instagram and stuff, like guys who are Millionaire Director's quite a good one.
Yeah.
Who are like a bit kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, mate? Like inspiring.
Inspirational, sort of motivational, and just kind of giving you what I find, certainly with some of them, are the ones that go, try this for a month and you'll see massive differences. And it's like, you go, oh, right, yeah, go on then. Get 8 hours sleep. Oh, all right, that's easy enough. Have a cold shower at the end of your shower, turn the taps cold, and you're like, oh, okay. Get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go to the gym before you go to work, or get up at 6 o'clock and meditate, and you're like, oh, okay, these are really tiny things that I can do, and I think they would make a massive difference. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the vibe, isn't it? Like, I think you said to me before, spend a year on yourself, and I think this is the year where I'm going to do that. And I've started a bit early. I have 5 days not drinking. I feel clearer and better already. Sleep patterns much better, and I think it's like a year of just giving everything the best that you've got, and going from there. Okay, right. So we've got 7 questions, matey. In the 2022 review. So number 1 is, what did I change my mind on in 2022? Tricky, isn't it?
Ooh.
I'll go because you've
go
seen
on.
these and you probably need a bit of time just to digest. But I'm beginning to change my mind on cryptocurrency because I feel like the YouTube stuff that I listen to, as much as these people are genuine and potentially legit, there also seems to be the fact that it never goes up. So like I'm kind of a little bit on the fence with that. I've withdrawn a lot of my money and just left it on the side, and I've still got that one in particular that I think when something happens, that's going to kick off. But apart from that, I'm a little bit. I don't think it's like when people say, "Oh, cryptocurrency is a con." I don't think it's a con, but I think it's easily manipulated by people with lots and lots of money. So at the moment, I would say that is one thing that I was quite excited about. But probably this time last year, I'm not so much. Anyway.
Yeah, I've got mine, and there's going to be, obviously, if people are watching this, there's going to be blatant advertising coming up. I've changed my mind about deodorant and soap.
Okay.
Right? Okay, so I was always...
You're using it now.
That brand, I've always used like an antiperspirant, block the stuff up so I don't smell, I don't sweat, don't this, don't that. And now it is expensive. It is slightly more expensive than the stuff I normally use, but I now use, I don't know if you can see this.
Oh yeah, I've heard about this, Squatch.
Yeah. Dr. Squatch. It's just, I use like a roll-on deodorant stick and the soap, and I was really, I'm a big guy, I sweat, I'm always hot, and I didn't want to kind of pen and ink under the pits sort of thing. So I jumped in both feet, and I used their soap, and I used their deodorant, and it's not an antiperspirant, so it's and I smell amazing all the time. At the end of the day, like at the end of a hard day where I've done a day in the woods and I've been in classrooms, I've done this, I've done that, and I get home and I've gone to the gym and I can lay on the bed just before I'm waiting for the water to warm up and I sniff a pit and I'm like, that's not bad, Phil. That's
Seriously?
not bad. Yeah. I mean, it's blown me away. Now, obviously, it's a free advertising for them, and if one person heard it and bought it, it would seriously blow your mind. It was amazing. So that's why I've changed my mind about deodorant.
Sweet.
Not putting all the chemical rubbish and things like that on there. Just some sweet. I mean, it's all natural. Yeah, absolutely. Just amazing.
Are they the ones? They've got some quite cool adverts.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one that dipping your balls in something or other. Don't treat them bad. It's that sort of thing. They're really good. So the smells are incredible.
So the smells are incredible, and because there is this kind of belief that deodorants and antiperspirants in particular, like, cause cancer because they cover up your pores and stuff. So basically, what we're saying is, Dr. Squatch works, from your opinion, as well as proper deodorants, but also smells amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's certainly not better than some of these sprays, but it's as good as, and it's not blocking up pores, and it's all natural sort of ingredients. It's all like smelling oils, and it's just incredible. Incredible.
I've actually written it down. I'm going to buy it. I looked at it. It's not cheap though, but you reckon
it's not cheap.
It's worth.
However, saying that, the roll-on deodorant lasts forever.
Yeah.
The soap is a little bit cheaper. I've got Birchwood Breeze here. Smells incredible. Smells absolutely flipping amazing, and you smell like it. I got Viv to smell my arm. I showered in the morning. Worked. Yeah. I'm a smell of my arm. Worked all day. Smoke, fires, all that sort of stuff. Got home that evening. We're sitting there, and I was like, "Oh, smell my arm." She's like, "Oh, that still smells of the soap." It does. It's just incredible.
That's awesome. So that's so you use that. I mean, without going too much into your personal life, Phil. So you'd use the soap in the shower instead of shower gel, I'm guessing.
Yeah, don't use shower gel. They do shampoo and conditioner as well, and so I've been using that. I try to use shampoo and conditioner that doesn't have any, is it parabens and stuff like that in there. So, but this stuff is just incredible. So, shampoo, conditioner, soap, roll-on deodorant. I think I've kept them going this year. So
well, that's amazing. And to be honest, you've convinced me, Philip, because I looked at it, thought it's too expensive for a risk, right? But now you kind of, you sort of allied those fears. I'm going to buy it. And if anyone from Dr. Squatch, or anyone knows anyone from Dr. Squatch, wants to send them our way, we're happy to sample any other products, aren't we? And
yeah, absolutely. I think they do non-fluoride toothpaste as well, and I know that's a big thing for you.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I was going to
it's
talk
all
about
on
that.
it. Just to me, it just sort of rings those correct bells.
I like that. I like all of it. I think it's good. And the fluoride thing, like I said, I've talked about it before, but fluoride there's a lot of talk about it not being that good for you, and overusing it. And people could do their own research, but I stopped using it, and I found my teeth felt better. And I recently went to the dentist, and having used non-fluoride toothpaste for about 5 years, he was pretty pleased. So I was pretty pleased. So I highly recommend. And I use one from Amazon. It's called Aquadent. It's really tasty. It's tasty too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good one. Okay, cool, man. I was anxious slightly about time. We'll have to come back on in a minute, but we'll keep going. What creative energy? And obviously, number 3 will be what drained energy. For you. So have a think about that. I'm just, I can always, I'll edit if it takes too long.
To be fair, I can answer that question really, really simply. What gave me energy, what created energy, was going to the gym and going regularly, like 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I built myself up from 2 times a week, 3, 4, 5 times a week. Next week, I start going 10 times a week. I'm going 5 times in the morning, 5 times in the evening, and they're no more than an hour. So it's like, and you think to yourself, oh, how can you spend that much time? I get up in the morning, I'm spending 2 hours on my phone. So it's so easily done. So I've deleted apps, which is my negative. That's what drained energy. My poxy phone. So I'm deleting apps and I'm deleting stuff that I would normally use and making sure I put my phone down. So just not even touching it for like 2-3 hours in a day. So it's like proper time. Leave it in the car if I need to leave it in the car. I mean, you and I are of a generation where we didn't even have a mobile phone when we were growing up, and we survived. So I figure there's nothing that major that won't matter if it's not heard for 3 hours. So
Absolutely.
My phone drained it, and the gym ruddy well charged it.
Good, yeah, mate. I'm with you on that. I think I'm going to choose for created energy. I learned about psychedelic breathing or holotropic breathing, and that has kind of changed. Just to be honest, it has changed my life a little bit because it is so powerful with regards to. It's like a kind of form of meditation, but it's relaxing the mind, but also bringing the breath in line with the body. And you do kind of, if you do it for long enough, you do get a kind of high, a natural high, like Wim Hof talks about. But it's also very balancing and settles you. And, it's a challenge because the breath work is hard, the constant breathing. But then you're holding your breath for up to like 2.5 or 3 minutes at a time, which is a real challenge. But, the longer you can do, the more positive the feeling you get. And again, people who are sort of more alternative can look into it's supposed to do things, align the chakras and stuff like that, but I won't go into all of that in case people think it's nonsense. But I mean, the bottom line is it does make you feel tip top. So that was, I spend $4 a month subscribing to this guy, and I genuinely think it is fantastic money well spent. The draining thing would be for me, I guess, work that is not aligned with my sort of vision for where I want to be. So I would, I feel like I've kind of made a sort of conscious decision to leave a profession that I feel was draining my energy, not allowing me the time, the energy to see my children and to write the stuff that I want to write and get into stuff. So I feel really positive about doing work that, although is simple and mundane, it allows me freedom to do the other stuff in my life that I want to do. So I think for anyone, it's so scary, and I've had anxiety and all sorts about it. But actually trying to forge the life that you want, rather than the life that you feel like you need, is an important thing. So
100%.
Yeah, so that's that. Well, 5. Okay, 4. Sorry. What were the boat anchors? So I think they mean by that, what were the things that you couldn't have done without, that kept you sort of grounded, or kept you be able to do the things that you do?
I'm going to go family and friends. And they know who they are. I've got a very, very small friend base of maybe 3 people, and they know who they are. Immediate family sort of thing. And that's kind of, Christmas wouldn't have been Christmas without where I was, what I was doing, and having those important people around me. Having Quinn coming over, having that kind of Christmas Eve bonding session with Callum, being there with my parents, having my brother and my sister-in-law over, and watching the girls open their Christmas presents. It's just that for me, that family and friends, I think is the root, is the grounding, is the anchor for my ship.
Yes, and I can't disagree with that. I'm precisely the same. The family, the friends, and and I think the positivity you get from. We've said this many times, haven't we, mate? That when we sort of talk, or we do the podcast, or we go to a meet in the pub or whatever, you generally feel better afterwards, and I think that's a positive thing for men, isn't it? I think we need to do more of that, and it's cathartic and sort of positive.
And it's probably worth giving a massive shout out to Viv and Tanisha for keeping us on the straight and narrow, and allowing us to go and go meet up at the pub and holding the reins.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not easy, man. It's not easy. Especially given that, I don't know about you, but I'm a bit like, I'm doing a podcast in 10 minutes. She's like, you didn't tell me. And I'm like, sorry. It's just like, it splits up with a lot. Right, Brian, I'm going to call you back. Is that all right?
Yeah, of course. 100%. Speak soon.
He came and then he went. What happened with Phil? What happened with my homeboy Philip? Oh, he's back in the waiting room. He's back in the waiting room. I've admitted him.
Sorry about that.
It's all right.
It asks me if I want to do Wi-Fi or cellular listening microphone thing, and I click that. But directly underneath it is the person's recording this meeting. Do you want to leave the meeting or got it, or that's okay? And where I clicked the ear thing so quickly, I've clicked leave the meeting. I was like, damn it! So I then had to go back out and go back in, so apologies. That and the fact I was pouring myself a second Guinness.
That's all good. So you're going to stop, you have a drink tomorrow, and then you hardly ever drink, really, do you?
Yeah, that'll be it, really, just to sort of finish off. I've got a little bit of rum I need to finish off, and don't need to, but I'm going to.
Yeah.
And a couple of Guinnesses, and then that's me done. I'm probably going to try and really reduce the amount of fizzy pop I drink as well. I drink a lot of the red cans of drink, but diet ones, not what are they called? Coke Zeros.
Okay.
Drink those.
Yeah, I mean, you get to a point with when you drunk for like quite a lot, like over Christmas. I got to Christmas Day and I drank a lot, and I was just like, you feel horrible, don't you? You feel it's not a good feeling, man. It's like it's not great. So like I say, I'm enjoying it. It's really nice to have a little detox. Okay, mate. Number 5 in our 2022 review. What did I not do because of fear? So what did I not do because of fear? Good one, isn't it?
Oh, that is a good one.
Well, I think, I'll fill while you're thinking, but I think that like one thing we did do, which was that, I don't mind me saying, it took you very much out of your comfort zone, was we started the Two Bears business for good. And I think as much as, there were issues there. I think it was a very positive thing. I think we faced down a bit of fear and we invested in stuff. And like we are in a lot of ways getting noticed, like in the early stages. They say that like, it takes 3 years to build a business, and a
Yeah,
brand. We did that and we're well along the way. And a lot of people talk about doing stuff and never actually get around to doing it. So that was like I think a real positive facing down of fear. And I think yeah, I think for me, I should have just taken the leap of getting out of work that, again, not sound repetitive, but getting out of work that's too draining and too long and not fitting my vibe. And I think
yeah,
that's taken too long. And that I should have done it earlier in the year, and I planned to do it earlier in the year, but I got caught back up in it for a variety of reasons, mostly money.
yeah,
But yeah, I hopefully won't necessarily need to do that this time around. But we shall see. Anyway, mate. Yeah.
yeah.
What about you?
I've got one. It is my fear that newer is better.
Mm.
And perfect example is I'm driving around two cars. I have my work car and I have a best car, which sounds awful because the best car out of the two cars is my work car. Which is it starts, it goes, it's cheap as chips to fix. It's a TARDIS of a car. You have a similar car as well. They're just amazing, bulletproof. I'm going to go out there and try and start it tomorrow, and it won't go. But it's just brilliant. Whereas my other car, which I bought for when I go up and visit relatives in Scunthorpe or when I go on holiday, so I'm doing kind of 2, 3, 4 hours worth of driving. I bought this car so it would be reliable, and it's been nothing but unreliable. It's kind of the electrics don't work on it. It's it won't start sometimes, or the electrics just go while I'm driving along. So I could be doing 70 miles an hour on the motorway, but then the speedo just dies, and I could be doing 150. I could be doing 50. I have no idea where I am until it decides to come back on, and it's cost me hundreds to have it diagnosed and looked at and fiddled with and prodded and poked, and it's still shite.
I think we should call it out, mate, because and I'll take the hit if we have any comeback. But you've got a Ford Cougar.
Yep.
Sorry, there are children just I think potentially murdering each other. But I think Snatch out there, it'll be fine. But yeah, Ford Cougar is the nice car. It looks amazing. But Ford, if anyone from Ford's listening, send someone from America or wherever to sort out Phil's motor because it's not been right, has it, from the start?
No, from the start, it really hasn't. And the thing is, it's like an all singing, all dancing car. It talks to me. It turns the fans up and down. It drives itself. It parks itself. I can push a little button and it parks itself. It's like Kit. I'm driving Kit, but I don't have a little lorry that I can drive up into and ask them to fix it because if I can't get into it and I can't open it and I can't start it, it's no good. Whereas I'm driving around, God knows how old was my Peugeot. It's a 307 station wagon thing. It's on a 58 plate, yeah. And do you know what? It starts. The last week I was working for the Marcus Rashford charity in Alcombe, and it was rain and rain and rain and rain, and I'm in like stables and I'm driving down into the woods and it's muddy, it's wet, it's kind of down this old beaten track, and even Land Rovers would have struggled down there. My Peugeot went down there, and I heard it growl at one point and go, "Come on, I'm having it." It took me up, it took me down. It was just amazing, and I can't. And it needs a new CV boot on the because it's clicking when I turn right round the corner. So I know that there's something that needs fixing on it, and still it's getting like a wounded beast, and it's still dragging me up the mountain. It is just an amazing car. So that's what I'm going in March. I give it back. My PCP is up, and I'm just going to give the car back, and I'm just going to go. Do you know what? I might get myself AA or RAC membership that covers me. So even if I'm out with you and your car doesn't start, it's still covered and they'll come and start it sort of thing. So I might do that. But it's not going to cost me £300 a month or whatever it is to have a car that doesn't actually work very well. So my Peugeot is all paid off. It's done. It's dusted. It's an amazing car. I'm just going to trust the process.
I think you're right. Yeah. yeah, a long time ago, I stopped paying monthly for cars just because for me that is an expense you don't need. And really, until we've made our first million and you can buy something proper,
Yeah,
like a brand new Tesla or whatever it is you want, I just think I don't care, like because at the end of
yeah,
the day, it's everything secondhand. It doesn't really matter. Like, and the most important thing, my dad had some interesting quotes. He said Ford stands for fix or repair daily. And he said,
yeah.
what was it? A third class ride is better than a first class walk. I don't know if you've heard that one, but I quite like
I
that.
haven't, but it works.
Yeah,
It works. And
and yeah, and I'd say
all
we
I,
got. Sorry, go on. Sorry,
no, go on, you go, mate. I've interrupted you twice there. Go on, sorry.
no, it's a little bit of a delay, isn't it? It's quite annoying on the Zoom. But the Nissan, we've got a Nissan Qashqai Plus Two, so it's a seven-seater. And I'm like saying to Tanisha all the time, I think this is going to load or not start or whatever. And she had to renew the insurance on it. And it's actually worth about $1,000 more than we paid for it because it's rare and it's Nissan. It's done 105,000 miles, whatever it's done, but it's actually worth like it's insane. Like they insured it for the value. They said, "Oh yes, $4,500 or something." I was like, "What?" So that's a positive thing. So yeah, my attitude is always if you can Japanese, mate, and
Yeah,
just because I think they're
yeah.
reliable. We've had this conversation before, but I think, yeah. I mean, without upsetting any American listeners or Canadian or whatever, we don't get decent American cars really over here. So, like from our
No.
perspective, like I mean, there are lots of good cars, but I mean, you got to go with what you know, didn't you? And for me, it's Japanese.
Our petrol is so expensive over here. We cannot literally afford to run it. I would love a 5 litre engined V8 because the V8s just sound incredible.
Mm.
And I would love to do that. Then only get like 5 or 6 miles to the gallon would just be my ideal car. And to any environmentalists listening, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry because it would be my one sort of thing my one luxury. But it would cost you 50 quid to run that car in petrol for a day.
Yeah.
It really, if you wanted to, you couldn't go anywhere. It's not like in America where petrol is so cheap. And it is ridiculous. I mean, we're paying £1.80 for like a thimbleful at the moment, I think, aren't we?
Yeah. It's not a good time to be alive in where we are at the moment. There we are. Okay, mate. What number 6? What were my greatest hits and misses of the year? Which is an interesting one, isn't it? Because
Yep.
we found out, I suppose, hits wise, that the podcast has more than your mum and my mum listening to it.
Yep.
That was positive.
It was very
Um,
positive.
so, like people say, keep on keeping on and just keep doing it. And we have kept doing it. And we had our sort of first 3 series, I suppose, on a different sort of platform or whatever. And now we've moved to a new platform. We've got much more listens on this new platform with far less content, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Far less episodes. So I think for me that's a bit of a hit.
It is. I think on the back of that is the fact that we've both discovered we quite like a conspiracy, and other people quite like listening to us talk rubbish about conspiracies. And I think, I've got a theory on that as well. We're quite open about it. We're not saying the Earth is definitely flat or hollow or round. We're saying, well, it could be all 3. Who knows?
Yeah.
You don't know. I don't know. We don't know. You can wax lyrical about your point of view as much as you like, but at the end of the day, no one really knows.
Agreed.
Yeah, and that's why I think a conspiracy theory is quite cool. And I like the fact people could listen to us and go, well, they're talking absolute shite. And then somebody else could listen and go, well, no, I think they're absolutely spot on. I think they're absolutely right what they're saying. And it's just such an open. So yeah, I think we conspiracy wise, we are greatish.
You've done that. Yeah, that's good. What about your missus, mate? What do you think? What would
Um,
be what? It's not nice to think about the negatives, is it? But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's hard, isn't it? I mean, What are you thinking?
Uh, I that I'm still. We both suffer with imposter syndrome,
Mm,
and there are certain things, books included, for me, where I just feel I'm really dragging my heels a little bit more than I should do. And I've got a little quote, and I put it up on my wall, and I did it about August, September time, and I wrote it up there. And the quote is, no one will have heard this before because the quote came from Quinn, and he went, "People will like your book, just do it." And I
nice.
was like, "Oh yeah, okay." And he's like, now by that I don't mean you'll sell millions, but I'll read it,
Yeah.
and Nan and Grandad will read it, and of course Isabel, who's my illustrator, will read it,
Mm,
and immediately, you start going, and you could possibly sell 10 books, and it's
mm.
like it's worth doing for those 10 books, just do it. Yeah, and I just thought, wow, what a slogan! Just do it. I might
Just
I
do
might
it.
copyright that one. Oh
I think
bugger, I can't.
it's a bit too late, brother. A bit too late, but no, it's good, And once again, inspiration from young people, which are and teenagers who get such a bad press. So I would agree with that. I think both of you and I haven't probably been as productive writing wise as we could have been this year, and I think that's a miss for me. I think letting I drank too much. I think this year you let it back in. And not that it's been a problem in any way, but it just is a problem because you don't get as much done, and you don't stay on top of your health. So that for me is something I want to address a little bit more in 2023, and not make any promises about anything that I want to do necessarily, but just certainly try and keep a handle on health and fitness, and got a goal weight, and that I want to get to and stuff. So make sure that I do that, because I think that's what sort of because one of the hits for me as well was West Ham being so amazing, and one of the misses now is West Ham being so.
Yeah,
It's a double whammy, but that's one of the reasons I got back into drinking, because we were constantly, in Europe,
yeah.
living our best lives. Right, last one, mate. So, what did I learn? Excuse me. Not to do a podcast when you got a cold. What else? What did we learn? We learned so
What did
much.
we
I mean,
learn? Um, learned
for me,
loads.
for me, mate, I'll take it. Give you a bit of time.
Go
The
on.
first thing is fill your own cup before you fill the cup of others.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, I think you've got to make sure you're, mental health wise, and you're in a good place and a good state. Not in a selfish way, but I think in a positive way. So then you can then support other people. So that's kind of where I'm at, wanting to get myself in the best position I can be, so that I can, whatever I learn, if it's helpful. It's like, I'm re-releasing my book I wrote about quitting drinking, Don't Look Back Hungover. That's being re-released in January. And again, I've had people come to me who I haven't seen for a while, like on the Dartford pub crawl, ironically, and they were like, "I read your book," and it really helped and stuff. And that's a huge thing, and that sort of ties in. I think that's, I'm not going to tell you what you need to say, Phil, because it's your question. But I think one of the things that you need to learn is that absolutely what you just said about your sort of imposter syndrome thing is that even if one or two people respect and like what you do, and this podcast is kind of evidence that we we think more negatively than we possibly should about things,
Yeah.
so be positive moving in. Anyway, sorry, I'll shut up, it's your turn.
What was the question again?
What did I
Just so I
learn?
can. What did I learn?
What did you learn,
Um,
mate?
I learned that life really is too short,
Mm.
and that does kind of come in with what we were just saying about just doing stuff and everything else. But it's actually grabbing every moment. And I'll use Quinn as an example. He people that listen to this know that I see him every other weekend, and I see him on a
Mm.
Wednesday night and things like that. And it's kind of just knowing that those 3 hours here or the weekend here is just so important. And
and obviously I've played guitar since I was about 14 years old, so I've got a good understanding of the instrument. He's just coming into it, and it's kind of like he walked into my bedroom the other day. I was sitting on my bed, and he went, "Dad, I'm trying to learn Limp Bizkit Nookie." And he said it's really, really difficult. I was like, dude, that's like buying, never having swum before. That's like buying a pair of swim shorts and going, I'm off to go and swim the channel. I was like, it's a really big. I said, so if you can, I'll sit down and help you. And the guitar has the top string is detuned to F sharp, I think, but he'd tuned it up to F sharp, which is only one tone up on the E string. And so he was getting it to sound right, but it wasn't sounding like the record. I was like, no, you got to detune it loads. So it kind of detune. And then I started, and I was saying to him, and he's like, I can't get that tune, not that string, rather, not to. It's like, it's just try this and try. And we just had this wonderful bonding session over Limp Bizkit's Nookie. And he's got this little Epiphone Les Paul that he's playing, and he's tuned it, and I'm kind of having to go, and we're swapping guitars, and he's having to go on my Les Paul, and it was just this wonderful, wonderful moment. And he walked away after about half an hour going, it's still a hard song, but I'm going to go and master it. And he went off into his room, and all I could hear was bow bow dang bow bow down bow bow dang bow. Then he comes back and he goes, right, I think I've got it, but my amp, because he's obviously plays bass guitar quite a bit, he's playing it through the bass guitar amp, and he's like, it doesn't really sound good. I was like, come and use my amp. So I plugged it into there, and he's like, oh, that sounds incredible. I was like, yeah, go on. So he's then kind of got the sound, and he's got the overdriven pedal and all that. So yeah, but it was that sort of, and I just thought to myself, any other point in time, I'd have gone, I haven't really got time to show you this. I haven't got to, and I was like, that was it. Sitting down, showing him the notes, bonding, him going away, learning it, coming back, getting the amp out, doing all those sorts of things. It was just like, I'm never going to have that moment again. It's keeping every moment, cherishing every moment, and using every moment to kind of underline that point that life is too short.
I love that, mate. And to paraphrase, it's like, don't worry about the destination, just enjoy the journey, isn't it? And it's I feel that's something I've certainly had to learn, because over time you sort of think, oh well, if I can't be the world's best bass player, then what's the point in learning the bass? Like, and it's like, actually the point is about enjoyment of life rather than anything else. And I think that's the key thing. And I think, mate, this is the end of the year. We want to send people off with a positive message, and for me it's been a real learning curve. And I think at the age of 41 with 4 children, good mates, and I live in a nice place, I'm happy, that is kind of success. And the little wanker in my head, he goes, well, you don't earn enough money, or you don't know what you're doing, or you've got to kind of go, well, go away. Because actually no one's made it. No one's fully made it, even if they look like they've made it. You know what I mean? So it's about enjoying that. And I think on that note, mate, what we'll do, if you're happy with it, because I want to say good night to my little one. Babe shouting at me. We can do it like a little extra one, maybe, or I'll just add a bit on with the alternative theories, and maybe we'll just call it a day. Wish our followers a lovely New Year's.
Yeah, happy New Year to everybody. Make 23 your year to be.
Love that shit, mate. That's beautiful. Phil, I won't see you till the new year, but have a nice evening.
Yeah,
don't be too hungover, and I will. Still, normally you saying that to me, so I'm enjoying getting it in quick. But yeah, man, honestly, have a good time. Love to Quinn, and we'll meet up early in the new year.
Sounds like a plan, bud.
Much love, buddy.
Yeah, much love to you guys. Happy New Year, everyone.